Let me ask you a question. When you hear John Prine's Illegal Smile, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Yeah, you're not alone. For decades, people have thought John Prine was writing a stoner anthem, a kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge song about, well, lighting up and laughing your way through life. But here's the thing. John Prine swore that this was not the case. And in fact, the truth behind the song is a lot more interesting, a lot more personal, and actually way sadder than you think. So today, let's unpack exactly what this song is about. The misconceptions, the double meaning, and why it's one of the most brilliant examples of John Prine's humour and humanity. First, let's deal with the obvious. When Prine released his debut record in 1971, hippie counterculture was in full bloom. If you were hanging out in Old Town Chicago, where John was playing, you were surrounded by head shops, incense, peace signs, and, well, plenty of herbal inspiration. So when your album opens up with a song called, well, Illegal Smile, people are gonna assume you're singing about marijuana. And to be honest, the lyrics kind of invite it, don't they? Let me get my guitar. All right. I do not play this song very often, so please forgive me. And you may see me tonight with an illegal smile. It don't cost very much, but it lasts a long while. Won't you please tell the man I didn't kill anyone? No, I was just trying to have me some fun. I mean, when I first heard that, and for the first 20 times, it just sounds exactly like a song about getting high. And there's other lines in that first verse kind of about feeling goofy, finding your little bit of joy in the world, and well, that can all be read through that same lens. And I think Prine knew it. He once admitted that he was aware of how the audiences interpreted it, but he always insisted that it was not a weed song. So, if it's not about getting high, what is John Prine actually trying to say? This is where it gets fascinating. Prine described himself as someone who often smiled at inappropriate times. You know, the kind of guy in the corner chuckling away when everyone else is being serious. He said life struck him as absurd. Sometimes he felt like he was floating above himself, watching everything from a distance, with this little grin on his face. And he called that grin his illegal smile. So it wasn't illegal because it broke the law. It was illegal because it didn't fit the moment. You know, joy and laughter can kind of feel out of place when life is heavy. And remember, John was a mailman when he was writing this song. So he's spending all day walking around with just his thoughts and just sorting through the human absurdities. And, well, that's kind of where some of this detachment and his wry humour grew. Now, here's the genius. John Prine was not naive, yeah? He knew what he was doing. He knew people would read it as a drug song. And he leaned into that ambiguity. Even the line, just before the chorus, he says, I have the key to escape reality. Now, come on. That cheeky little line can mean a whole host of different things, but if you take it in that direction, then we all know what the key was. That's the brilliance of his writing. It's in so many of his songs. There's this double meaning, and it works as a cheeky counterculture anthem, but also as a deeply personal reflection. Think about these lyrics. When I woke up this morning, things were looking bad. Seems like total silence was the only friend I had. A bowl of oatmeal tried to stare me down, and won. And it was 12 o'clock before I realised that I was having no fun. Firstly, I love the way he shapes those lines. Those last two words, or the last two syllables at the end of the line, is absolute genius. I absolutely love it. But if you think about the actual lyrics, on one level, it's funny, it's playful, it gets a laugh in a smoky club. You know, a bowl of oatmeal tried to stare him down, that's a funny concept. Well, but is it? This is the thing, because on another level, it's kind of about the bleakness and the difficulties of life, and how holding on to this childlike joy is sometimes the only way of coping with the absurdity of it all, and by smiling when you shouldn't. Let's consider the final verse. Well, I sat down in my closet with all my overalls, trying to get away from all the ears inside my walls. I dreamed the police had everything I thought. What then? Well, I went to court and the judge's name was a Hoffman. This could quite easily have been written about some drug-induced paranoia trip which left Prine feeling freaked out and hiding in his cupboard from the imaginary thought police. But it could just as easily be interpreted as Prine retreating into himself and not feeling paranoia from like a substance, but from the feeling of being judged for his illegal smile, which felt criminal despite being actually harmless. And this is why John Prine's music and lyrics hit so hard. I mean, it's never just one thing. And here's the kicker. On his debut album, John Prine was writing some pretty heavy material. Songs like Sam Stone, Angel from Montgomery. I mean, these are songs about death, war, loneliness, and, well, broken relationships. And he said to himself that Illegal Smile was his attempt to write a happy song. Yeah, he said that this song about inappropriately grinning and this kind of absurd way of detaching from reality was as close as he could get to happy. And that kind of tells you a lot about his state of mind at the time. So when you listen to Illegal Smile, you're not just hearing a funny opener from the album, you're hearing John Prine's struggle in a world that he often found overwhelming. So it's quite clear that Illegal Smile was not written about smoking weed. It was kind of written about John Prine's coping mechanisms and his way of surviving in this world. It's about finding these little sparks of happiness when the world feels heavy. So it's about laughing at the wrong time because, well, honestly, what else can you do? And we've all been there, yeah? We've all been through difficult times, whether it's grief, stress, or just even the daily grind of life. And sometimes the best thing you can do is to just smile or to just laugh at the situation. And John Prine was kind of giving us permission to find joy, to find happiness in places where it normally doesn't belong. So next time someone tells you that Illegal Smile is just a stoner anthem, well, you're going to know better. And it's not about breaking laws with a joint in your hand. It's about breaking unspoken rules and choosing joy when life tells you not to. And you know what? That's probably a lesson we all could use. Guys, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If there's any other John Prine songs that we should be looking at and taking a kind of deep dive into the hidden meanings or some of the lyrical concepts, then also shove them down below. Join the channel, subscribe to the channel, like this video. Come find me on Patreon. We have a whole load of stuff going on there. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, then do stick around because we will be doing more kind of explorations into these hidden meanings and kind of uncovering the true stories behind classic songs. I will see you in the next video.